Yo, we back with another installment, man, and Goku in the DC universe, man. I titled this what Goku and Superman travel to New York. All right, so let's do a cameo. By the way, man, I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers, man. So like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video, man. I get like 500 views a video. Come on, man. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get a recap. So Goku follows behind Superman. So last time, what happened? All right, Superman, the Boy Scout, he landed on the Kent farm, of course, and he was raised up. And 5 years later, uh, I say 5 or 6 years last time. I think I said five. 5 years later, Goku also crashed down, in which the family went to go see the pod, and is when they found Goku. Superman picking his later soon to be adopted brother up. He comes up with the name Goku. All right, and if y'all watched the previous video, y'all found out that Goku is actually mentioned in DC Comics as like a cartoon or something like that. All right, I mentioned that in my first video. Y'all can go check that out. All right, anyway, growing up in Smallville, Goku and Clark, they grew up together but in different backgrounds. Goku was homeschooled due to his tail and his, him being Goku. And Superman went to public school. So they had like two different types of childhood. But they still had their brother to the poor, real good relationship. Anyway, Goku ends up running, or Superman ends up saving Lana Lang from a tractor, in which shreds his overalls and also lets him know that he's bulletproof. He's stronger than steel. And then he goes to tell Goku first, and Goku's super hyped. That's when Clark says he needs to help people, and then that's when we get the first foreshadowing of Superman. All right, the first foreshadowing of Superman, which they're all happy for him. Goku outright rejects being a superhero. He's not really interested in the manner, but what he is interested in is all of Clark's cool abilities, like the ability to see through walls, to X-ray vision, to laser beam vision. That's what Goku's hyped about. So Goku follows down the footsteps of trying to be as strong as his brother. All right, and while Goku's out here trying to be as strong as Superman, lifting up cars and whatnot, plowing fields with his bare hands, all that, Superman takes on the mantle of Superboy and begins on his adventures of saving people. All right, that are in need, at least in his in Kansas. All right, and at that time, Goku also learns to use heat vision, but it takes a lot of energy out of him. He's not really good at using it. Similar to when Goku was able to use a Kamehameha that Master Roshi did. And, for those of you that might say that's a stretch, remember when Vegeta died, he was able to use laser vision to bury him. He was also able to use, or other people in there have been able to use it. Dr. Zero had laser vision. Cooler had laser vision. Frieza had laser vision. Slug had laser vision. You get my point. You get my drift. Anyway, so as they're growing up, Goku begins to spar with Superman all the time. Superman's not really for it. He's not really a guy that's obsessed with fighting, but Goku is. It's more like brotherly bonding. Goku gets injured throughout a lot of their bouts, but nothing too serious. Clark feels bad about it until Goku tells him to keep going, in which Superman begins to admire his tenacity. Anyway, towards the end, Goku feels like he's getting left behind by his brother. His brother Clark, who's going by Superboy at this time. And that's when he decides to venture out on his own. And when they have one last meetup, Superman giving him a thumbs up. And after their last encounter, Goku runs into Kryptonite. And then that same night he runs into Lex Luthor, and who was depressed, and Goku ends up giving Lex Luthor the Kryptonite as a present to cheer him up. So that ended with Goku meeting two people that are going to come to be very influential in his lifetime, which leads us to hear Goku and Superman travel to New York. All right, so let's get to it. Leaving Smallville, Goku goes to ventures out on his own. Looking for new adventures, looking for ways to catch up with his brother Clark. All right, and many travels, he begins to run through the wilderness and whatnot. Eventually, he ends up stumbling across the road, and he gets hit He gets hit by an ongoing vehicle by a trucker that wasn't really paying attention. All right, in which he flattens Goku out. The trucker feeling bad and also surprised about the miraculous non-damage Goku took, offers to give him a ride to where he's going, in which Goku accepts. All right, and that's how Goku ends up in New York, specifically Battery City, New York. So Goku being in the city, coming from a small town, he's amazed. He's like, wow, I never seen so many buildings. Anyway, so Goku wanders around New York City, deciding to find a place to rest behind some hotel. He's just gonna sleep on the floor. Goku don't really care, and it's at this time that a robbery is ensued. Now, don't mind this Red Hood guy. This is just the guy used in case for robbery. This isn't the Joker. All right, I just wanted to make that clear. But anyway, a robbery ensues around this same hotel in a back alley. All right. Wildcat, a hero, seeing this, is about to jump in, but before he can, Goku interrupts and says, "Hey, man, it's not nice to take things that don't belong to you." All right, standing up on him, standing his ground, and walking up on him, and they respond in kind by letting off rounds, man. They're like, "Who is this guy?" Well, you should have listened to your parents and stopped talking to strangers. And they let off some shots, open up fire from the Draco. Wildcat seeing this, he's like, oh man, he kind of panics. And he's also angry because, he thinks it's curtain for this kid, man. He didn't have a chance to live life. But Goku's just annoyed by the whole encounter. He's like, hey, why'd you do that for? Those things hurt, man. They kind of felt like bee stings. Then he begins to, then he begins to take them down through the martial arts he watched on television. Sloppy, but still effective. It's at this moment when Wildcat's like, who the hell is this kid, man? This ain't no ordinary kid. And Goku just looks at him like, hey, I know you're there too, so go ahead and come out. And that's when Wildcat shows up. Pops up, they exchange a couple words. Wildcat's like surprised and amazed by the kid and his fighting abilities, even though he's a rookie. And he thinks that he thinks this kid's got potential. And it's at this moment that Wildcat realizes that this kid is sleeping in an alleyway. He's sleeping in the alleyway in the gutter, man. This kid must be a runaway or something. Maybe he's a runaway from his what he believes to be meta-human powers or whatever. Meanwhile, Goku's just about to go to sleep, taking his shirt off like it's no big deal. And that's what Wildcat offers to take him with him. Say, hey man, why don't you come? I got a place you can stay, basically. All right. So that's what ends up happening. Which then ensues. Goku stays with him. They begin training. All right, Goku sets him up on an offer. Goku ends up living with Wildcat for a couple years. He was 12 when he left Smallville. I'm gonna say he's 14 now. All right, and remember, Superman is 6 years older than Goku, so Superman is 5 years older than Goku. So Superman was 17 when Goku left. Anyway, so he stays for about 14 years. He stays till he's about 14, training with Wildcat, helping him out on certain jobs. And that's when he starts to perfect his form, his pivots. He starts to heighten his reflexes a little bit. Of course, he has to hold back, but the training is still effective nonetheless. All right. Showing his super strength at certain times by breaking bags. Wildcat's super impressed, thinking, man, this kid's not just a natural, this kid's supernatural, man. He's got the moves. Thinking that he'll be a great hero, but Goku isn't interested in the slightest. Just like he wasn't interested back in the first installment of the episode. In the first episode, he wasn't interested then. He ain't interested now. Anyway, he thinks that he's learned everything he needs to learn, so he tells Wildcat, this is it. I'm going back on the road. Takes his bags. Wildcat's just like, hey kid, man, uh, never stop training. Giving him some words of encouragement. And at the same time, in those 2 years, Superman, Superman's a young man now. Being 5 years older than Goku. So now Superman's 19. Already started off going to college at Smallville this first year when he was 18. And now he's going to the big city of New York. All right. Now he's going on his own to New York, traveling and whatnot. So so ironically enough, they both end up in New York. But anyway, all right. So Superman graduates. He graduates Smallville High School and moves to New York, still taking on the mantle of Superboy, but now calling himself Superman. All right, and they still fight crime. And Superman begins to fight crime in New York City. All right, and he's blocking bullets while Goku's getting hit by bullets like they hurt. They're just bouncing off Superman. That being the difference, the comparison. But it's ironic that they both ended up living in New York without even coming across each other in the time of Goku being trained by Wildcat. Now moving on, after Goku ventures off away from Wildcat, he comes across another woman who wants him to follow her. Goku, being incredulous, kind of gives her the kind of an eye, but then he ends up agreeing. All right, taking her hand and following her into the limousine. And then that when he comes across a familiar individual, but this individual has also been old, has also grown older, and he's lost his hair. And this guy we know is Lex Luthor. All right. So he ends up meeting Lex Luthor. They exchange words. Good to see you, this and that. And Lex Luthor's like, hey, man, I got a job for you, Goku. And, they kind of catch up, whatnot. Lex Luthor's gotten word of Goku's feats that he's been doing under the tutelage of Wildcat. Helping Wildcat from time to time. Oh, I should also mention, I don't know if I included this, but yeah, Goku had to hold back, so Goku had to pull his punches while training. Obviously, he didn't want to break anybody's neck or nothing like that. So he had to hold back. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but anyway, he tells me after all that catching up, he tells him he's got a job for him, and Goku immediately flashes back to his adopted father and mother, Martha and Jonathan Kent. And thinking back when they told him that he should always work for his everything he gets in life. All right, being coming from a farmer's background, so Goku remembers, go get a job instead of pulling stunts like this. All right, stop doing stupid stuff and get a job. So he remembers, the words his parents gave him, in which he agrees. He agrees with Lex, and then he remembers, him giving the kryptonite to Lex and all that. Then he agrees with Lex and asks him, so what's the job? You got a deal. And that's when Lex says, that rock you gave me those 2 years ago, I've been doing studies on this ever since in my research. All right. And I've come to the conclusion that this rock is a piece of a planet. All right. And that it came from here, it crashed here. All right, and its properties are unknown. I'm going to need more for my research. So I need you. So after this planet exploded, he gives him the steel. My theory is that this planet exploded by some means, and its remains were scattered throughout the cosmos. And I've been getting readings that more than just the rock that you had gave me has crashed on our planet, which is the planet Earth. All right. In which he then pours out a thing similar to the Dragon Radar that Bulma had, and says, with this, you can get a reading on the kryptonite itself and the areas it might be, in the areas they reside in now from their crash landing. All right, so he's letting them know, hey man, the job, Goku, is you to get more of these green rocks. All right. Goku's like, oh man, that's easy. I found the first one by chance. And Superman, and he's just like, not Superman. And Goku's just hyped, about the whole experience. He got a job. He gets to go on more adventures. He'll probably find more masters similar to Wildcat. So he's just hyped in general. And in order to help him with his journey, Lex gives him a prototype experimental backpack that'll allow Goku to fly. It's solar powered. Go figure. Because his brother Superman's solar powered as well. So he gives him his own jetpack. And as he's about to leave, thanks him for the job. A smile kind of comes on Lex Luthor's face. He's like, thanks for everything, man. I finally got my first job. I can't wait to tell Pa and Ma. And then, this face gets on this kind of smirk gets on his face. He says, don't mention it. All right, then he takes off with the jetpack that he has, about to fly off. He even writes to Martha and Jonathan Kent about his first job that he got. And they're just like, oh wow, our boy, he's already working at 14 years old. Anyway, and also let me mention, on the way to his travel, before he leaves, he says, oh yeah, Lex, I always knew that you'd bounce back and become even better than from the hard times you were living in. Because remember, in the first episode, Lex was crying from running away from his abusive father, and Goku gave him his rocket, cheered him up. So so Goku's happy that Lex didn't dwell on that and just continued on his accomplishments. And a genuine smirk, unlike the evil smile, a genuine smirk comes across Lex's face, and he's like, "Don't mention it." He's actually happy that somebody believed in him like that. All right, so Goku takes off in his jetpack. He looks on the radar for the next rock, the closest rock that crashed, and that rock happens to be in Themyscira, man. Themyscira. So that's where this next episode is going to take place. Themyscira, home of the Amazons, man. So Goku's going to come across the Amazons. All right, it's kind of a short video. Not a lot happened. I just wanted to kind of get the basis of what's going to happen on the next one. All right, so if you guys liked it, you guys got any suggestions, anything like that, put that in the comment section, of course. And once again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gone. Peace.